Facebook. Oh, and Rumble, too. Can't forget about Rumble. So all of that there. Now, I generally like to start the show. I've been doing this lately, sharing some of my own automotive exploits, just to prove to you that I do sometimes work on cars rather than just, talk about them. And this time is a little different because I have a confession. It has happened. It has happened. There have been hints of it for the past few weeks, probably even a little more than a month here on the show. Anyone who knows me personally likely has noticed when I go places the lack of my AE86 being present. It's not there. It's been absent. In fact, there's been this Subaru thing in its place, which, while the Subaru drives great, it's usually a little bit of a letdown if someone's expecting something cool and old and you show up in something new and common. But anyway, I thought winter would be the right time. I really did, because I wouldn't be driving it much anyway. People really wouldn't notice its absence. Sort of like a carefully thought out murder where the evidence is only discovered later in the springtime after things start to thaw out. And, well, we've had some nicer weather here in Colorado, at least briefly. Still technically wintertime, but we've had a few 60-degree days here as opposed to like negative 14, so that's nice. And things are starting to thaw out. And the cat is out of the bag. The authorities are on to me. I can hide it no longer. My AE86 is, still safe and sound here in the garage, actually. If you're watching on video, it's right there. But it is now in more pieces than it started out with, and missing one very important piece, the glorious 20-valve 4AGE with individual throttle bodies. Yes, I took a perfectly running car. I didn't even break it. I didn't even blow it up. I didn't do anything to harm it, except for the fact that I took a perfectly running car, which even did wonderfully racing last time I was at Pueblo Motorsports Park. It did tremendously. But no, I unceremoniously removed its guts and sold them to the highest bidder. I know. I've talked about collector car hype and why it's never worth selling out. I've mentioned how death itself would be preferable to becoming a shill who just senselessly drives up the cost of once available and cheap car parts, only, driven by a sense of profit and nothing else. And yes, I've talked about that. I have come out against that. I have stood my ground defiantly against that sort of behavior. And I have to say, in my defense, I got a really good offer on it. I did. In fact, it was such a good offer that it was nearly 3 times what I had paid for the entire car just a few years ago. So yeah, I caved. I did it. I know you're going, boo, you're turning off the radio. If you're on podcast, you're taking your smartphone and you're throwing it on the ground and you're stomping on it. I know. Those sweet, sweet individual throttle bodies, the sound of those, the sharp response and eagerness to rev well past 8,000 RPM. All gone. And instead, I now have a lifeless pile of money. Do I feel good about myself? Yes, I do, actually. Yes, I do. Because while I can't drive the lifeless pile of money, I imagine I will soon be invited to all the fancy concours events where people sip on vintage wines, of course, with the pinky in the air, and look down upon those who, of course, drive lesser vehicles, or actually who just drive their vehicles in general, because only peasants would actually drive their cars. And I might even visit that really fancy coffee tent at Barrett-Jackson where they sell cups of coffee for like $20. Simply out of spite, frankly. I have joined the automotive elite here, of course. And just like all the other automotive sellouts, astute buyers who cashed in big on collector car hype, this is merely the start. You don't just start and then stop. No, this is purely the beginning. Next thing you know, I'm going to be frequenting all the auctions and picturing how I will greatly profit from the next big flip. And that flip, of course, is likely a car which should have been driven and enjoyed instead of being relied on as, a piece of a retirement portfolio. And, I might even get invited to events with, other people who are like-minded and again, trailer their cars, no less, to the event. I mean, why would you put another mile on that car and affect its resale value just to take it to a car show? No, you can't do that. So I feel like I do feel like I should be disappointed in myself. Ashamed even. Maybe, but the thing is, I'm really not. I'm really not, because even though I'll come clean. Even though I can pretend to be one of the elite aristocracy, I can never actually escape. I could never escape from poor financial decisions, especially involving old JDM cars. It can't happen. It's never actually going to happen. Who am I kidding? I will never join the automotive elite who never actually drive their cars. I will never do that, in fact, because I instead decided to take that hefty chunk of change, which I could have just, sat on, invested it, bought another car with, invested it again. I don't know. I could have bought some Bitcoin with it, maybe. Actually, that would have... No, I can still lose money faster, not even being invested in the crypto market, because instead I took that money and I bought another engine from Japan, one with variable valve timing, a Yamaha design cylinder head, and a stout and beefy bottom end, one that has a reputation for excellence and probably costing me more money. And of course, it has set me back into automotive debt, further proving why I probably shouldn't be trusted, at least with money. You should definitely not hand me money and say, whatever you do, don't go buy car parts with it, because, well, I did. So anyway, nope, I'm not going to be joining the automotive aristocracy after all. In fact, I am going to be driving that car. I'm probably going to be driving it harder and breaking it even harder than before. And we'll keep you posted on that. I think it'll be a secret for what that engine is. And like I said, variable valve time.